Hi guys, welcome back to the Game of Muscle YouTube channel. We're live streaming, but we're also recording a video. Why are we recording a video? Because many of you have asked for force feedback wheel settings in Racer and Racing Experience. But what are we doing? We're live streaming Racer and Racing Experience with the Fanatec CSL Elite F1 Esports bundle. And as a result, we've just been tweaking the force feedback settings, which is means we've got force feedback settings. And I can now tell you some good force feedback settings for the Fanatec CSL Elite PlayStation 4. Let's have more words, compatible wheel rim. Here's race rim on the screen. Let's go to the settings and let's go through this quickly so that you've got no excuses and people can stop asking me about force feedback settings. So we're in the game here. We go to options. We're going to go to control settings. We're going to go to force feedback. Wow, that wasn't hard, was it? No. Here we go. So the defaults aren't quite right. I didn't find the force feedback was too weak with the defaults, but after a little bit of tweaking, at least with the Porsche. The Porsche since the update, Porsche GT3, 911 GT3 car, these are good force feedback settings. You might find that certain cars need different force feedback settings to actually to work well, but this works well with the Porsche, and the Porsche is a good all-round car, so these force feedback settings are a good start point if you've got a CSL Elite wheel. Okay, so here we go, settings. I've got the force feedback intensity, which is the overall force feedback strength, set to 100. I've got the steering force intensity set to 100, steering force minimum force set to 0. If you have this on anything, you'll notice a notch in the centre of the force feedback. You don't want a notch in the centre of your force feedback. I've got the understeer set to 55. That basically means when you're turning around a corner and the front start to slip, you get some subtle front end feel, and at 55, the force feedback gets lighter as it goes, as you start to understeer. It gives you nice information that you're driving the car too fast around the corner. Don't do that. You're wasting your tyres and you're wasting lap time. Vertical load set to 40. As you go faster and the car gets more downforce, that makes the steering weight up. So when you're going through Eau Rouge, you know that you've got the downforce. Or if it's too loose, you know you don't have the downforce and you're going to drive into the wall. Whoops, you break your legs. Lateral force is set to 85%. That's just the force as you turn left and right and the weight of the car moves around. You like that? Well, I like that quite strong because it gives you a good planted feel to the vehicle. Steering rack is set to 50. I might turn that down. It was on 100 by default, but 50 seems okay. It's supposed to be the percentage of lateral forces coming through the steering rack. I don't even know how that works. It just seems to add a bit of mutiness feeling to it. I don't know. I don't understand that, but I've set it to 50. It seems okay. Slip effect is a nice little bit of rumble that you get through the wheel when you go over bumps. When you're driving through the corner too fast and the front is understeer, sorry, you get a shake. It's just a vibration. It's a nice handy effect to let you again know that you're overdriving the car. Although sometimes when you're actually on the limit you get a little bit of slip and it's perfectly fine, but it's nice to have a little bit of an effect for that. Engine vibrations actually turn off. You might like that for immersion. Literally as you rev the engine the wheel will shake a bit, but it can oversaturate the force feedback of the CSL Elite and weaker force feedback wheels, so probably don't want that on. Curb vibrations 15%. I like a little bit of vibration when I go over the curb, so you know that your car's a bit unsettled by the curbing. 15% seems quite nice on this wheel. Just lets you know, I say you're on the curb, and it doesn't overwhelm it at 15%. Again, you've got to be really careful with the consumer wheels that you don't overwhelm the force feedback, because if you have too many effects going on, there's only so much the wheel can put out, and you want to get. You want to make use of what's there. You don't want to drown it out. It's like having small headphones. You put loud music through it, it just comes out as noise. You have to be careful that you don't oversaturate it. Shift effect I put on 0. You might like that as an effect. It's just a clunk when you change through the gears. It can be helpful to know that you have changed gear. It can help you stop double shifting, but I don't like it. It's a bit weird. That's a subjective thing. I don't like it on. Collision effect. When people drive into you get a bump. I kind of have that turned down. I don't really notice it too much, but it's nice to feel your steering wheel jolt as you're being rammed up the exhaust pipe. But that is basically the force feedback settings for the Fanatec CSL Elite PlayStation 4 Dingle Dingle. Use our Fanatec affiliate link steering wheel. Hopefully that helps everyone. There's one last thing I'd say is worthwhile doing. If you're using the CSL Elite non-load cell pedal, I would make the brake sensitivity a bit more sensitive by going through the brake upper and lower dead zones. You might want to make it more sensitive. I don't have it more sensitive here actually. I thought I'd done that, but I quite like with the potentiometer based pedal to make the brake quite sensitive, as it kind of emulates more that load cell pedal feel. If you've got a load cell, you don't need to worry about that. It's all fine. And lastly, blitzing through this, guys. Lastly, remember that every single car has a car setup and steering settings, and if you find that you want a specific car to have stronger force feedback than what you're currently getting with those force feedback settings we set in the main menu, you can use the force feedback multiplier to increase the force feedback or decrease it on a car by car basis. So that's really useful, as you might find some cars to say benefit from stronger force feedback, some benefit from weaker. Last point, my God, getting through this as quick as possible. Last point, as we've got donuts in front of us, that the marshal's going to want to have a word with him. I mean, it's obviously an Audi driver. You can't expect anything less. Steering lock is the sensitivity of the steering. So the higher the steering lock value, the less you have to turn your wheel to turn the wheel in game. You'll find if you run a higher steering lock, so more sensitive steering, that will also make the force feedback stronger because you're moving the wheels at a less amount of steering wheel. You're moving the wheels more, so it's got to put that weight, it scales that force feedback strength into that. So you might find that you might want to increase the steering lock. Personally, I quite like to run with high steering lock because I'm lazy and I don't like to move the wheel a lot. It also makes catching slides easier. But the downside is if you do tight, if you have a sensitive steering lock or high steering lock, the downside is you lose the ability to be as subtle. That if it's lower, then it's a lot easier to be subtle and not accidentally throw the car in too much. But there you go, guys. Hopefully that's helped those of you that had the burning desire to set up the force feedback settings with the Fanatec CSL Elite wheelbase. I'd imagine these force feedback settings are probably pretty good with the TS PC Racer, as it's reasonably similar to the CSL Elite wheelbase in strength and general feel, though this CSL Elite has more subtle force feedback, but they're kind of in the same ballpark. But there you go. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the like button, and I will see you on the live stream. We're live streaming now. Live stream has got a free video. There you go. Don't even need to watch it. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.